Hello to all of my lovelies and welcome back to my channel, Higher Self Tarot. My name's Addison Taylor and I'll be taking care of you today. So go ahead and grab a seat and a snack and let's get into this reading. Here in a bit, I'm going to flash a picture of the pile so you can choose which one is calling to you. I have to say, I actually am re-recording this intro in part of group 1 because my video camera, my whole phone just completely flashed off and nothing I had recorded was saved somehow. And I have plenty of space on my phone. So I'm saying that to say that this is clearly a very powerful reading and it's going to be very liberating because apparently certain sources do not want you to get a hold of the power that's in this reading. But I went ahead and set an intention. I set a prayer of protection. I asked my guides in. I asked God and Source and Spirit in. I always call on Jesus Christ as well as my ancestors and my guides who are walking me along the path of unconditional love. So they have cleansed my home. They have cleansed my aura. They are surrounding me and surrounding all of us for this reading, which clearly to me must be very important to those of you who ended up here. So I wanted to start with that, but I also wanted to say that this reading was actually inspired by one of my Etsy clients, Karen. Hello, Karen. She wrote me on Etsy wanting a reading about how to deal with an enemy. And this enemy could be a frenemy, a work colleague that there's just a lot of tension and anger, or even a relationship that used to be very dear to you that has broken down and you just don't know how to deal with it. Even aside from people, this could be an outside enemy. A substance, an idea, your subconscious, yourself, like just something that's breaking you down and you need advice on how to move forward. So Spirit is here to give you some answers and some clarity today. Now, pile number 3 is designated for Karen, but if you feel called to pile number 3, it's because it's meant for you as well. And don't forget to comment below after your reading, because I think especially for darker messages like this, where there are difficult things going on, it's so important for us to remember and see and realize that there are others out there going through the exact same thing or something similar. It helps us feel not so alone or not like failures, or just to feel understood. So leave a comment before you head out. That way we can provide each other support in that way. And so I'm going to go ahead and flash a picture of the piles and I will see you there. Love you guys. So I want you to take a moment to breathe in a few deep breaths. Connect with your guardian angels, your spirit guide, your higher self, God, Source. Cleanse any negativity, tension, and anger that's around you. That's going to be very important before choosing your pile, because darker forces, negative energies, they feed off of your energy. So they don't want you to discover this message. They don't want you to find a solution and release yourself from this. So ask to be surrounded by an aura of white light, by your guardian angels and your guides, and ask them to help you choose the appropriate pile for you. So focus on the piles for a bit, meditate for just a second, and when you have discovered your appropriate pile, timestamps will be down below, and I will meet you there. Okay, pile number 1, welcome to your reading. I'm re-recording part of this because when I was recording earlier, my camera and everything just shut off. There's plenty of battery, plenty of space on my phone, so I had to start over. I only had gotten to the tarot card, so we're good. I didn't get too much of the message unpacked, but I wanted to say that just to say that this is going to be a very powerful reading for you, because something, even if it's your own self, doesn't want to fully see it because of how much it's going to liberate you, because of how much it's going to pull you into your purpose. So look at this reading with those eyes and with that heart, because I'm really excited to get into this with you today, okay? So I rolled my die here. These are astrological die. And we have Aries and Mars and the 12th house. So the meaning I was getting from that, and you could be Aries, but you don't have to be. Mars rules Aries, and Mars and Aries are all about our ego, like being able to assert ourself in the world, being able to separate ourselves from the other. And the 12th house is a house of like just merging, a house of non-existence. It's the house of our subconscious and our dreams and our fantasies and our spirituality. Like it's a very murky, fluid sort of house. So I felt that in regards to this situation, you are feeling unable to assert yourself. You're feeling unable to conquer this, either because of it feels very difficult. It's very hard for Mars to be in that watery 12th house, because Mars is fire and the 12th house can kind of burn out that fire. So it feels like it's a mountain that's impossible to climb for you, or that you just, no matter what you do, you aren't taken well. So you have almost resorted to just not even trying because nothing feels right when you do it. But let's get into the tarot cards and see what additional messages are here for you. So these are some tarot cards from my tarot deck that I created. And we have stage 3 of endeavors, level 10, the ocean tide, and spiritual growth endeavors. And stage 3 of endeavors is the 3 of wands, and it's associated with Aries as well. So it says here, it is reversed. It says a relationship has broken down. Your power and confidence has been stripped from you. Feeling powerless, desperate, chasing after someone or something. With level 10, the ocean tide, that is the Wheel of Fortune. And it says the time is now. The tide is in. Time to launch something and take a big step. Time to sail. A new karmic cycle, receiving one's karma, good or bad. Your karmic paycheck is arriving now so that a new cycle can begin. Optimism, growth, new room available for expansion. And then the last card, which is spiritual growth endeavors, and it's a card that I added to the traditional tarot. Connected to one's ego in a healthy way, taking pride in the body, mind, and physical form, taking pride in the earth and Mother Nature, divine harmonious union of the spirit and the human form, materialism as a means to spiritual awareness, respect for the body, respect for earth, seeing that the human form and mundane earthly experience is highly spiritual and should be appreciated as such. And this card is about the 12th house and Aries. So the message I was getting from these 3 cards is that I think for a lot of you, and this won't be for all of you, but I think for a lot of you, the enemy that you're dealing with is your own self, and potentially some sort of substance or idea that you have been chasing after or consuming for so long, and it's been hard to break away from it. But that is exactly what needs to happen. And I do think that this may have been a cycle that you've been in for some time, or you may have experienced a situation like this particular enemy many different times in your life, where it's like the same thing just keeps coming up. It's also similar to what I've experienced over and over and over again, and why can't I get it to stop? And it's because you keep handling the situation the same. And I see that your idea about how to handle this situation is to fight against it, to conquer it, to obliterate it, to really assert yourself over it, when the answer is actually to walk away, to not try and win this thing or this person or this situation, to completely just leave it. So I have some other tarot cards here that I want to get into, and we have the Moon card, which is Pisces card and 12th house, and then we have Ace of Swords, Queen of Pentacles, so you could be an earth sign, or the person person you're dealing with could be an earth sign, as well as the Chariot, which is Cancer energy. So what I'm seeing is that this is definitely 12th house energy. This is murky, it's scary, it's convoluted and complicated, and you can't quite see all of the details because you're walking through darkness. But as soon as you decide to cut this situation out of your life, it's kind of like, instead of continuing to push myself to wander in the darkness and conquer the darkness, what if I just actually try to walk in the day? Like, let me just leave the darkness and go walk in the daylight. And then it's so much easier. I can see where I'm going. I'm, not complicating things. So you're going to get this sort of aha moment where you're like, oh, okay, I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to stop trying to fight this thing. And that's what the Chariot card is all about. It's about moving away from something. Now, this could be related to work, or this situation could be eating up your finances in some way. But as soon as you walk away from it, it's like you're back on your throne. You have reclaimed your stability and your consistency. Money is looking good again. You feel abundant. And Queen of Pentacles, this is an earth sign, and the spiritual growth endeavors card talked a lot about a connection to our body and to Mother Earth. This situation you're in is eroding and breaking down your ego so that it can be rebuilt. And it will be rebuilt when you walk away from it. And this is going to improve your health. Pentacles are often about health and your body, and you're going to accept your body. You're going to live within your body harmoniously. I think a lot of you that chose this pile haven't reincarnated on Earth very many times, or if you resonate with the term starseed, you may be a starseed. And it's been very hard for you to adjust to earthly life in the human form. And that's why you've run into this situation. This is a very earthly, human sort of experience that's being fought against, is what I feel here. So you're going to, once you leave it behind, you're going to be walking towards acceptance of the human life that you wanted to incarnate into. You weren't forced into this. You wanted it. But it feels different once we're down here in it, right? And I think you miss your spiritual self. And you kind of reject this human self that you have, that you are. But this lifetime is about harmoniously merging the two. If you've done that, you've passed your test for this lifetime, truly. You know, there is spirituality. There's more spirituality in the everyday things of life than there is in tarot readings and attending church. That's the truth. You know, there's more spiritual growth in waking up and making my bed every single day, you know, feeding my kids, driving my husband to his doctor appointments, whatever it is, brushing my teeth. Those are very mundane things, but that's why they're more important spiritually, because it's much harder to get ourselves consistent to these things. But that's what we're down here to learn. And I feel like this situation involves a lot of that, of a rejecting of the self and being unable to kind of overcome. So this could be, I'm not getting a particular person, I'm getting more like depression, addiction, anorexia, or bulimia, or obesity, anxiety. Like I'm feeling like that is the real root of the issue. So if you came to this reading with a particular person in mind that you are battling with, the solution is actually in nurturing and taking care of yourself and like completely leaving this particular person behind. And that may be why they're not showing up for me here. I do have a card to represent the person you're dealing with, so we'll get into that. But it feels like the solution is actually to just forget that person and walk towards your own health and healing. Okay, from the Gypsy cards, we have Reunion and literally the Enemy card. So yeah, it feels like instead of walking away from this, driving away, you've actually reunited with something from the past that gave you issues in the past. Remember how I was saying that this cycle you're in may have been something that's repeated it seems like a major theme in your life. That's what this is. You have fallen back into or gotten back into something that wasn't good for you, or someone that wasn't good for you. Trying to conquer it, trying to fix it, when the real way to fix it is to leave it because it's not good for you. Okay, this archetype card represents who this, enemy is. And I'm going to read the shadow attribute of the card. We have the scribe, okay? And on the shadow attribute, it says, altering facts or plagiarizing others' work. Altering facts or plagiarizing others' work. This feels like your mind to me, because you've allowed your mind to work against you. The 12th house, which came up in our dice, is about the subconscious. And there's a reason why you reunited with this substance or illness or person from the past that you knew wasn't good for you. Your mind altered the facts. Oh, it wasn't as bad. It wasn't that bad. you know, I'm sure things will work out fine. I'll be able to handle it. I'll be able to fix it. And the person themselves, if you're dealing with an actual person, may have been saying the same things to you to convince you to go back to this. Okay? Or there could be, you know, even an entity or something, a darker force that's saying these things to you. And your spiritual lesson in all of this is to recognize that and to block that out. Okay, this is the chakra that's going to be healed through this situation. And look at that. The cards that are gray, this is about your chakra that's just outside of your body, your spiritual chakra, and it says confusion. And look, this woman is just wrapped up in this spirit, this entity, this thing that is confusing her thinking. It's confusing her mind. This is a very important spiritual lesson for you guys. And you guys are going to be able to heal others in the future once you conquer this. And remember, with the ocean tide, the tide is in, the time is now. It's time to do it now. I'm actually starting to get really excited for you guys because I feel a lot of good energy coming for you and a lot of newfound confidence coming for you when you conquer this thing. Okay, from my healing deck, we have Recognize Divine Timing. I think that this is confirmation that the divine timing is right now. What led you to this reading? Did you even search for it on YouTube or did it just show up in your newsfeed? This is divine timing. This is your angels calling to you. This is God calling to you. It's time now. You've been in this situation long enough. You learned everything you needed to learn. You've soaked up all the spiritual wisdom there is to soak up from this. And now it's time to move forward and heal so that you can be a beacon of light to others in similar situations. That's beautiful. From my animal messages deck, we have the platypus. And it says, stop complaining and focus your attention on the blessings in your life. So this thing or this person, this enemy of yours, it's been a distraction for you. It's enabled you to avoid looking at the things you don't want to look at in your life, the messes you don't want to deal with, the things that are unpleasant. Somehow by putting all of your energy towards this other thing or consuming this other thing, it allows you to just kind of gloss over everything else and not deal with it. But the truth is, at least what Spirit is trying to say, is your life isn't that bad. You don't need something or someone to help you gloss over everything. You don't need a distraction. You have so many good things in your life, so many blessings. Start looking at your life from that lens, and then you're going to see that, yeah, I don't need a distraction. Like, I love my life. From our surrender deck, we have Surrender the Habit of People Pleasing. Speak your needs and be true to yourself. Focus on your own happiness instead of always trying to make everyone else happy. So for some of you, the cause of this addiction or illness or unhealthy relationship is your inability to say no to people and your desire of wanting everyone to love you, which we all want that. That's natural. You don't want people to dislike you. You want to be the fun-loving person that everybody enjoys being around, or you want to be the person that everyone thinks is beautiful, or you want to be the person that everyone can just relax and chill with. But of course, you can't always be that person. No one is. There's always moments of insecurity or moments of, look, I wish I could be here for you guys, but I have to take a break. I need a timeout today, or I've got to do this or that. So you're going to be learning how to say no and how to be more okay with the entirety of yourself, which will always include negatives and positives. You're going to learn to be okay with not pleasing everybody, not even pleasing yourself all the time. You're learning how to be unhappy or be dissatisfied or struggle through something and recognize that it's just a part of life. It will pass. I don't need any person or thing to help numb the pain from it. I am fully 1,000% present in the crap, and we'll get through it. That's kind of the mindset that you're developing. From our Miracles Now deck, we have, when I feel blocked, emotionally distressed, or overwhelmed, I turn to my breath. I really resonate with a lot in this pile. I really, really do, you guys. So this card is giving you an alternate option for this enemy. Instead of running to the enemy, why don't you connect with your body? Connect with your breath. Meditate. Air, oxygen, that's truly all you need to get through the shitty stuff that life throws at us sometimes. We don't need to be codependent on another person or codependent on a particular food or a particular mindset or anything. We can just connect to our bodies and our breath. I recommend that you guys at least make a plan to meditate sometime shortly after this reading, even if it's just a 10-minute meditation, just to connect to this energy because it's going to help propel you forward. I really do recommend that. Okay, from my last deck, it's the Mona Lisa card, and it talks about, so one side has a mantra or a mindset that you are currently locked in, and then the other side has a phrase that you need to start repeating to yourself to help lock into a healthier mindset. So, in the reversed, it says, I'm not comfortable accepting help. It's easier to give than receive. I'm not comfortable accepting help. It's easier to give than receive. So that is the mantra or the phrase that's playing out subconsciously in your head that's kind of led you into this situation, wanting to be able to conquer it all by yourself. You know, Aries and Mars, that's all about the self. They want to work alone. They want to do things alone. They don't want to work in groups. They don't want to work with other people. And while that's a great spirit and energy to have, you can get a lot done that way. And it's important for us to have an ego. There's also moments in our life where we can't deal with it alone and we need to ask for help. We can't always be the ones giving to others and doing for ourselves. We need to be okay with asking for help. So the upright of this says, to change, grow, and expand in my life, I lovingly accept help. To change, grow, and expand in my life, I lovingly accept help. I'm going to say it one more time. To change, grow, and expand in my life, I lovingly accept help. If you all meditate on that mantra for 10 minutes, I really recommend it to help connect you into this deeply healing energy. So much confusion is going to leave you. You're never going to deal with this situation again once you conquer it. It'll be obliterated. You will have already passed that level in the video game of life. You're on to another level. So comment below. Let us all know what is going on so that we can connect with you, talk with you, uplift you. I know I really resonated with this pile. I'm definitely going to be making some time tomorrow for a good 10-minute meditation on this mantra. Let me know if you guys will join me in doing that, and I will see you all next time. All right, love you. Hi, pile number 2, and welcome to your reading. Before we get into the cards, I want to roll my astrological die to see like what area of life this may be affecting you. Maybe give us some more information on this enemy that you're dealing with, etc. So let's go ahead and give this a roll. All right. We have 6th house, moon, and Cancer. That is crazy, you guys, because in the first reading, we had Aries and Mars come out, which, you know, Mars rules Aries. And in this reading, we have the moon in Cancer, which the moon rules Cancer. So you could be a Cancer, but you may not. This could have to do with a Cancer. This could have to do with your mother or you as a mother. And the 6th house is about work, like work life as an employee, or our day-to-day responsibilities and tasks at home, like as a housewife, for example, or a homemaker, or just at work in general. So kind of day-to-day responsibilities. So let's get into the cards to see what else Spirit has to say in regards to this enemy. I want to start with the tarot cards. So we have spiritual growth, feelings, culture of feelings. Both of these are reversed. And spiritual growth mentality. Okay, so this is a tarot deck that I created, but I actually added, I think, like 8 new additions to the tarot deck. So there's more cards than a regular tarot deck. And it's just for me, it's not for sale or anything. But all 3 of these cards are from the additional cards that I created. So let me read these to you. Spiritual growth feelings reversed. Scared or fearful of spirituality, scarred or traumatized from spiritual practice and exploration, living in fear of religion, escaping through drugs or alcohol, childhood traumas in church, lost faith in humanity, doubting God's unconditional love or the unconditional love of the mother and father, afraid that more knowledge will just lead to more fear and pain. And the culture of feelings reversed, we have a country, organization, family, or group where spirituality and emotional connectedness is lacking, feeling empty or alone within a community or unit. Generations of family that refrain from emotion and affection, missing the emotional connection to one's community, isolating oneself from your community. And the spiritual growth mentality, we have lack of curiosity for life and the way things work, withholding one's insights and innovative ideas from the world, never turning one's innovative ideas or inventive ways of thinking into anything tangibly useful for the world. If born with a mental illness, know that it's a gift. It was your purpose to change and alter society's ways of thinking about the brain. Your mind working different from others is a gift. Interesting, you guys. So I feel 6th house. Let me look at this again, because honestly, this sounds more, no, okay, it's 6th house. I feel like, okay, 6th house rules our health. That's true. It rules our health. But I do feel like there's some sort of, I feel like the enemy might be your mother or your childhood. It feels like there is a complete lack of understanding between who you are becoming or who you've become as an adult versus who your parents expected you to be. Because they feel very like stern and traditional and like stuck in their ways, and you feel very innovative and forward thinking and like you want to explore things. But it's almost like if you were to do that, it would end this whatever relationship you had with your family, it would end it. So this feels very intense. Let's see what the other tarot cards have. So we have Queen of Swords. That could be your mother or an air sign in regards to this situation. Then we have the Knight of Wands. Oh, then we have the Two of Cups. And then we have the Ten of Swords. Okay, I do feel this may be random and may only be for a few of you, but I do feel that there's a brother in regards to this whole situation. That's almost like antagonizing things or amping things up, if that makes sense. And it feels like if you guys haven't yet met your soulmate or the partner that you're meant to be with, you will. And that person is going to give you your own community, your own sense of a family unit, so that you can really walk away from this if need be and leave this relationship behind. Because this woman, this Queen of Swords, she's very, I don't see a lot of fluidity with her. I do feel a lack of understanding and a coldness about her. And I don't think that there is anything you need to do to try and change it. I don't think you should put your energy into that. And I do see a brother that definitely isn't helping. Not that there's much he could do, but it feels like he may be, or a younger male in this situation may be kind of just adding fuel to the fire. But you will find your community and your person through your love life, your soulmate, your marriage, so that you can truly, and it's like you are going to heal so much from that relationship that you don't need to stress about hanging on to and clinging on to this childhood or this family that's not willing to accept you for who you really are. You know, you guys may be very psychic, for example, and maybe you come from a very religious family that, you know, doesn't believe, well, believes in tarot cards, but thinks they're a sin and thinks that they're this terrible thing. And, you know, if you're very psychic, you may be saying, well, no, I hear, maybe you play with tarot cards yourself, for example, and you're like, well, I'm hearing this from the cards. And then you've got family members behind your back saying like, I think she's, gone crazy, mental illness kind of runs in our family. Maybe she needs to be, on medication, or like just crazy, absurd things. And you don't need to deal with this. And you definitely should not feel alone or scared of your spiritual gifts. You are not alone. You have connection. Even if you don't have this soulmate yet, you have communities like this one online where there are hundreds of thousands of people every day connecting on tarot pick a cards and astrology videos. So don't feel alone or isolated or like this is, you have to cling on to this, you have to fix this. Because the most important thing is you being authentic. Authentic, and to no longer be stabbed in the back by people who should care more. Okay, from my Gypsy cards, we have Scholar and we have Letter. So I feel like you have a lot of emotions in regards to the situation. And I do think that it would be best to write this out in a letter format. Write a letter to this enemy of yours or enemies of yours. This may be Dad, for example, this scholar who kind of thinks he knows everything and isn't open to new information, so don't even try. But I do think you should write a letter to get this all out of you. All of these thoughts, any anger that you have for not being understood or unconditionally accepted. Get it all out. You don't have to send it, but I would say a letter is going to be a better form of communication than like talking in person in regards to this enemy. Or a text, for example, or an email. But getting it out, that way they have time to read it and reread it. They don't feel like they have to prepare some sort of defense. And don't send the letter trying to resolve things. Send the letter and just say, this is how I feel by the way I've been treated. And this is why I'm going to now walk away. And I would have loved for you to be walking with me, but I understand now that you can't because you've made me feel this way about myself. And I don't deserve that. Kind of tailor it like that, okay? Now this card's going to tell us who the enemy is. It's crazy, you guys. This is crazy. So we have Cancer and the Moon, which represent, mother and childhood, and we literally have the Mother card. And I'm going to read the reversed meaning for this, the shadow attributes. Smothering or abandoning children, instilling guilt in children for becoming independent. That really sums up the feeling I was getting from this Queen of Swords card here. You are meant to become independent. You're meant to think differently than your parents. We're meant to evolve generation after generation. And I know that you wanted your family to evolve with you, but sometimes they just aren't capable. Sometimes they're already at a certain age and they're set in their ways and they're no longer curious about the other possibilities. They feel like they know everything there is to know. And they can't move with you. But that doesn't mean you should be holding yourself back at all because you feel very gifted, you guys. And you're going to block your talents if you can't love yourself enough and accept yourself enough to move forward in regards to this situation. So from my chakra deck, this will tell us what chakra is being blocked in regards to this situation. And we have the blue chakra, which is our throat chakra, our ability to speak and communicate. And then we have the quest card. So I think that this blue chakra, it aligns very well with this letter card. I don't feel like you guys, because your throat chakra feels tight or closed off, the best way to communicate is going to be in writing of some form. And I do feel like that needs to happen. It's time to unblock this throat chakra and speak your truth and your feelings. This quest card, it's about like not being able to see the path that's for you, and then all of a sudden, once you connect with spirit, you realize that the path was right there all along, and it's so clear as day to see. You guys are in a phase of aligning with your spiritual path and your spiritual purpose. You feel lost. You feel like you can't see the end of the tunnel. You feel like you don't understand at all where you're meant to go, what the road is that you're supposed to travel. But once you unblock your throat chakra, get these feelings and emotions out on paper, lovingly say goodbye to the situation, your journey is going to really start beginning, and you're going to feel so much more connected to yourself. So this is from my healing deck, and it says it's a no. And if you read the book on the deck, which expands on the message, this is basically saying that, Because I feel like you all came into the situation feeling like you have an enemy of sorts, but this is actually an enemy that you love very deeply. This is an enemy that you wanted to really heal things with, and you wanted to move forward with this person or with this group of people. And it's a no, it's out of your hands, is what that card is saying. This entire situation is about you learning to be authentic and connecting to your authentic self no matter what the costs are, and walking towards that and not chasing after people to follow you. If they end up following you, great, but it's not your job to try and get them there. Okay? From my animal messages deck, you have the grouse, which looks like some type of bird, and it says, express yourself through rhythm and movement by drumming and dancing. That's so sweet. So some of you may be singers, songwriters, like artistic, creative people, and that's where you can put all of this pent-up aggression and pain into. Put it into your art, put it into your craft. We did have the 6th house come up, which is about day-to-day work and responsibilities. Channel it all into that, because you can make something really beautiful out of this situation. And you definitely need to, being able to dance, for example, you have to be very confident. You have to feel really authentic and comfortable with your authenticity and yourself to be able to just go out and dance and move and have fun. And that's what you're learning to connect to. So you may currently be very self-conscious and second guess yourself. And right now is a phase with connecting to your sacral chakra, to your heart chakra, to your true self, and really dancing with the rhythm of life and being connected to who you are. From my surrender deck, 2 cards popped out for you all. We have surrender your fear of intimacy. Okay, looks very similar to this card. You guys definitely have a soulmate, twin flame sort of relationship. If you're in it right now, then the message is that you actually are still quite blocked off from them, because you can't be truly intimate with another person unless you have been intimate with yourself. If you haven't learned how to be vulnerable to yourself, make yourself vulnerable and exposed and just rawly authentic, then you haven't done it with anyone else either. And so if you are in a current relationship or marriage, that marriage is going to strengthen so much and allow for so much inner healing once you're able to fully be vulnerable. And then we have surrender to non-action. Let me read this first card. You are ready to let love in. Compassionately identify and begin to release any patterns that stop you from opening your heart. In the surrender to non-action, and look, it has there's a unicorn. Now is the time to be still and not act. Simply breathe. Okay, sorry, my phone cut out, so I'm back. Okay, I was reading the surrender to non-action card, and the last line really got to me. It says, let others come to you. And that really sums up this whole reading in this whole situation. You need to focus on doing you and being the best you that you can be, and accepting the things that make you different from where you came from and moving forward with it, and not trying to get everyone to pack their bags and come along. If they don't come, then they don't. And you have to get to a place where you become really okay and accepting of that, if that is the outcome. So get out your feelings in a letter or written form, give them a loving goodbye, and then move away and just be you and be unashamed of that. I feel like for a lot of you, maybe there's things that you refrain from posting on social media because of these particular people that you feel will judge you, or maybe delete you as a friend or unfollow you. And it's really time to get out of that energy. If they leave, if they unfollow, if they judge, then that's on them. From the Miracles Now deck, it says, obsessing over the outcome of a relationship gets in the way. Instead, I let go and I allow. That is beautiful, you guys. And again, just sums it up. I love how the cards always end up tying together. And these are cards that I just shuffle and pull or shuffle and they jump out. And this ties together so beautifully. The only relationship you should be obsessing over right now is the relationship to yourself, and how accepting you're being of who you are and what you like and what you don't and what you believe and what you don't. Okay, from our last deck, we have the Mona Lisa card, and it's going to show us first in the reverse, a phrase that your subconscious has been repeating to you over and over again. And then we'll read the upright, which will tell us the phrase you need to replace it with. Make it like a personal mantra for yourself over the next few weeks. So the negative phrasing is, if I try my best and succeed, I may lose the love of people close to me. If I try my best and succeed, I may lose the love of people close to me. I think a lot of you who chose this pile are actually considering spiritual channels of your own, maybe becoming a tarot reader or a psychic or an astrologer, and these things go greatly against your upbringing, and you know your family would disapprove, and that's what's been holding you back. But you were born with a gift. You really, really were. I got that in this, spiritual growth mentality card. You're definitely psychic, I'll say that, but there's a way of thinking that you have innately that you're meant to express. So let's see what mantra we can replace it with. True love and partnership always encourage unlimited expression of creative and spiritual growth. I'm reading that 2 more times because I want to read it out 3 times and really make this manifest for you. True love and partnership always encourage unlimited expression of creative and spiritual growth. True love and partnership always encourage unlimited expression of creative and spiritual growth. You deserve to be loved unconditionally. No matter what spiritual beliefs you involve into, no matter what you do for a living, no matter what, you should not be silencing or hiding your light for anyone. So if you've tried to convince yourself like, well, but I think in this situation I should maybe hide myself, right? I should be the bigger person by hiding myself so that way I can hold on to this important relationship. No, absolutely not. Even if this relationship is important, it's never the end all be all. You are the end all be all, and you really deserve to shine and to love yourself. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I would highly recommend that you subscribe so that if you don't have a physical family near you, you feel like you have a spiritual one here to support you and to encourage your ideas and your beliefs and your growth, because you really, really deserve it. And people like you are exactly why I created this YouTube channel, because I dealt with a lot of these things when I opened up to my spirituality. I grew up with a father who was a minister. So, a very strict Christian background. And while I still, pray to Jesus and I consider myself a Christian, I definitely am not a Christian in that strict general sense that my family was very comfortable and accustomed to. So it was so, so hard when I dug into my spiritual gifts and my psychic abilities to admit this to my family. I felt so much shame and stigma around it. And that's why I needed, this YouTube channel. I needed to connect with people like me that were out there, people like you. So welcome to my little family over here. You can do it. I've been thinking about doing a video about my spiritual journey and the obstacles I went through when I was awakening, just so that other people could relate, like would feel like they weren't so lost. And I may do that in the near future just for you, because I do feel like you guys need it. But comment below, let me know if this reading helped you in any way at all, and we can conversate down in the comments together. And I will see you guys at the next reading. Okay, thank you. I love you. Bye. Hi, Group 3, and hello, Karen, my Etsy client who suggested this reading. I designated pile number 3 for her, but if you felt called to this pile, it's because the message pertains to you as well. So let's get into it. I have this astrological die here to help lay out kind of where this enemy is occurring in your life and maybe tell us a little bit about the situation before we get into the card. So let's roll that. Okay, we have 10th house of career. So this is related to work. And then we have Aquarius and Jupiter. Very interesting. So this could be someone this is definitely affecting your career, but this could be someone that is in charge of you or viewed as above you in some way. Maybe they have more degrees or the better resume or something that makes people really take what they say as the truth, because I do feel kind of an intimidation by this person. You feel intimidated, but you also feel like they are blocking your own expansion in your career. So let's get into the tarot cards first and see what else Spirit has to say about this. So we have level 0, the Immigrant, which is the Fool card in traditional tarot. And then we have level 3, the Misses. So that's the Empress. And then we have the Legislator of Mentality, which is King of Swords. So let me read these out. So, the Immigrant. Look out, world, here I come. I'm ready for anything. I can start brand new, and there's nothing to be afraid of if I fall. I may bounce, but I won't break. Ready to take on the world, embarking. Enthusiasm or something new, a sense of adventure, a completely fresh start, not needing much more than the shirt on your back to leave your comfort zone. Then for the Misses, the idea of what it means to be a wife or mother, emotionally ready to be a wife, mother, or homemaker. The archetypal wife, mother, able to bear children, wifehood, motherhood, pregnancy, manifestation, fertility, abundance, creation, working with the environment with ease, nurture, and love, ultimate pleasure, creativity, beauty, Mother Nature, understanding that all good things take time and come with time. Interesting. I feel like your enemy is the Immigrant and you are the Misses. So the Fool versus the Empress. Legislator of Mentality. A master of mentality, a person that knows how to persuade or convince others, a person that communicates extremely well, an intelligent person, a public speaker, a psychologist, an author, a writer, someone that uses their voice and career, politician, HR, judge. I feel like the legislator of mentality is a third party in regards to the situation. It could be the boss that's in charge of, you and this coworker, you and this other person. And this boss, I think, is a bit intimidating and, very smart and cunning, but it feels like he is favoring this other employee over you. And it feels like you are frustrated because you may think it has something to do with you being female, because I do see that you definitely feel more capable and much smarter and with much more experience than this other coworker that you're going up against. Like, you're looking at him like, you're brand new here. You don't even have the experience that I have. How in the world are you being taken so seriously by my boss that I've worked for X amount of years or have X amount of experience with, and you're being taken more seriously by him than me? Like, what? Is it because I'm female? What is it? And that feels very frustrating for you. Let's see what the other tarot cards have to say. So we have the Hermit, that's Virgo energy. The Ace of Pentacles, the Four of Swords, and the Hanged Man, which is water energy. So yeah, you definitely feel like you have your hands tied here. Really, I know that you feel like the enemy is this coworker, but I actually feel like the enemy is the boss or the company, because I do feel like this coworker that does have much less experience than you was offered some sort of new opportunity or a raise, like something that you really deserved. And I do see that made you really take a step back from this and go, whoa, like, am I in the right company? Am I working with the right people? Because for them to choose this person over me, like, is making me question everything. And you definitely feel like you have your hands tied and you are seeking like spiritual understanding of all of this, which is why you came to this reading. There's a lot of soul searching going on as well, because you're like, I must not be very self-aware. Do I view things about myself that aren't true? Like, you're really questioning a lot is what I'm seeing, because you feel like someone that really, you feel like a great employee and you really want to create things. You're really creative about it. You put a lot of love and effort into what you do in your career, and you know that you deserve a lot of respect. So it's very confusing why you're being kind of brushed aside while this newbie takes center stage. So let's see what the Gypsy deck has for us. We have the Widower, and we have the Messenger. So I do feel like this boss that's involved, the reason why they like this new person or feel pity, it's almost like They feel a connection to this person because of something related to their past. This individual, this enemy of yours, reminds them of some sort of connection they had in like childhood or through family or friends, and this was someone that they lost in some way. So this enemy of yours carries the same energy as someone that your boss feels nostalgic towards or misses. And that's why, so it doesn't have anything to do with you being a female, if you've been thinking that. It has to do with them feeling some sort of connection or reminder to their past when they interact with this individual. And I do think with this messenger card that you should communicate. I think you need to communicate this to your boss. Your boss actually may be putting you in a situation where you are technically supervising this individual, even though it's not your job. Your boss is supposed to be the supervisor. Your boss is supposed to get onto this person, give this person direction, but somehow he has stuck you in the middle without the pay raise for it, running errands and training this person or telling this person when they've done something wrong, and that's not your job. So I think it's time to have a conversation with your boss, who really, that seems to be the real enemy here to me. I feel like you really like your boss and you respect him. So you're putting all this anger towards this new individual, but the anger actually needs to be placed on the boss because he shouldn't be putting you in this awkward situation in the first place. And he definitely shouldn't be allowing whatever this coworker reminds him of in his past, that should not dictate the decisions that he's making about his employees at work. Like if this person is not the right fit for the job, the boss needs to tell him that and needs to end this relationship with him. He can't say, well, he's not perfect for the job, but he kind of reminds me of, my cousin that is kind of like him, and so I don't know, I just feel bad for him, or I understand him. That's not okay. Oh, there was one more. Oh, gypsy card that came out. Thief. Exactly. This, you definitely feel like this new person is taking a lot of the spotlight from you and the great things that you do at work and the compensation that you deserve and the recognition that you deserve. So this archetype card represents who this enemy is. And so I'm going to read the shadow side of this card. But we have the alchemist. And the shadow attribute says misuse of the power and knowledge that come through spiritual practice. Yes, this is your boss. This is not this coworker, even though you think it is. Your boss is misusing his power and his authority to his convenience. It's to his convenience. And I think he clearly sees that the two of you do not blend and do not work well together, but he just wants to kind of force it to blend on its own rather than fix the situation. He's really not stepping up to the plate is what I'm saying. So this will tell us what chakra is being blocked. And so we have the purple chakra, which is the third eye and like the crown. And we have the faith card. So the faith card actually talks about, see how there's a blockage in this path? This woman's trying to walk along her path, and then there's this blockage here. And she's upset because she doesn't notice that this blockage is like very expensive, valuable amethyst, okay? She's thinking it's just a big brick in the road that's blocking her way. So she gets upset and says, God, why are you always throwing blockages on my path? I just want to walk my path. Why don't you protect me from all these blockages? And then Spirit shows up and says, hun, that wasn't a blockage. That is a huge amethyst rock that is supposed to be a gift to you. It's highly valuable. Like, take it and keep it or sell it and make a bunch of money off of it. So what that's telling me in regards to this is that even though you are looking at this situation and this enemy as like just an irritation and a frustration, there actually is a gift in all of this. There is a gift. It's definitely, this was divinely orchestrated by God for something that you're going to end up gaining from it or learning from it, something. I mean, maybe it's that you talk to your boss and stand up for yourself and things change. Maybe it's that you aren't meant to be at this company, and so God needed to come in and throw this irritation in so that you would get to the other company you're supposed to be at, which is higher pay and greater opportunities, something like that. Okay, from my healing deck, we have ennoble your soul. So I think that's about, yeah, and it has angels and devils. This is about looking at this situation from a spiritual perspective, which is what the faith card is about as well. There's something you are learning or gaining from this situation that you aren't recognizing, because I can feel that you are just very irritated and bothered. But there's something you're going to be gaining. Sorry, my throat's getting dry. It always does on the last readings. Maybe the other cards will get into this. If not, I'll pull a few more tarot to see what this is. Like, is it a promotion? Is it a new job? Let's see. Okay, so from the Animals deck, we have the Meerkat, and it says, get support from a trusted group of like-minded friends. So if you haven't talked about this situation to anyone but me here in this reading, I would recommend you communicate with some other people in your life and get some additional perspectives on this. That's going to be very useful. In fact, they might be able to point out what you are gaining and why this whole mess is actually some sort of a blessing. From the Surrender deck, we have surrender your fear of change. The universe is reminding you that you are cared for always, whether you're afraid of a change in your job, your health, or a relationship, or if you fear aging or death. Repeat the affirmation, I have faith that all is well. I do feel like somehow, first of all, I feel like you need to talk to your boss and tell him you can no longer be the middleman or be in charge of this coworker. That's his job. That needs to be said. But I feel like you are going to end up getting a promotion somehow, sometime soon. It's almost like this new person, I don't know how, for all of you, it's going to be different. For some of you, it's going to be that this new person is able to replace what you do so that you can receive this promotion and be like at the same level of where your boss is now. It could be that, or for others of you, I feel like there may be a need to actually move careers or move companies, because there's something that pays more. There's something that pays a lot more elsewhere that you could get, because I do feel like you guys have a great resume and excellent experience in your field, and you've been underpaid for too long. And so Spirit is trying to force you out of this company so that you can get paid what you deserve. Okay, from the Miracles Now deck, it says, I release my need to be perfect, and I center into my commitment to serve the world more love. Very interesting. Very interesting. You know, I was saying throughout the reading that the real enemy isn't this new person, it's actually your boss. It's so true, and I feel like you have had this person, okay? You know, the card that came out to represent them is the Fool. The Fool is a very harmless energy. So it's like I felt throughout this reading that you're very irritated and frustrated, but you also know that this person isn't like a bad person. They don't feel evil or dark. They feel kind of oblivious and just kind of harmless. And so I do feel like this situation is helping you to tap into your inner mother, your inner nurturing, unconditionally loving side for yourself and for the world. Because when we tap into the frequency of love, we manifest so much more abundance. And I do feel like you need to start looking at this coworker from, like, as if you were their mother, like the love that you could feel for them, the understanding you could have for them. Now, it doesn't make it okay that your boss is putting you in this awkward situation with them. Your boss needs to take care of that. But this person isn't a bad person. It's not his fault that he was hired for the position, and I don't feel like he's intentionally doing anything malicious towards you. So release this anger and resentment that you have towards him, and even release the anger and resentment that maybe you should have towards your boss. That's how I would feel. And approach that with understanding as well. That doesn't mean to accept the way your boss is handling it, but just to let go of the anger with this whole situation. Look at it from a loving perspective. Your boss, for some reason, has some sort of emotional connection from his past with this new person, and it's making him handle things poorly. But, you know, you can understand how if there was an important person in his life that he lost, and it was very traumatic, and this individual reminds him of that person, yeah, it would be hard not to treat him differently from everybody else. So being understanding in regards to that, and being understanding in regards to this coworker of yours that truly isn't a bad person, they're just frustrating. And just instead of soaking up all this anger with the situation, trying and soak up some love and understanding, because that's going to help you gain some inner peace and move forward in a logical, smart, productive, efficient way. Have a conversation with your boss. I think it's important. Okay, the last card we have is from my beautiful Mona Lisa deck, and it's going to show us a phrase and a subconscious phrase that's been repeating in our mind that's negative, and what phrase we need to replace it with. So the negative phrase is, my job isn't really my true passion, but I stay for the security and the benefits. Wow, you guys. My job isn't really my true passion, but I stay for the security and the benefits. This could be forcing you to change careers and move into something you really, really love. Let's see what phrase you need to replace this with. I now give thanks that I experience profit, benefit, and gain in all areas of my life, mental, emotional, and spiritual. My work now has heart, meaning, and profit. My work now has heart, meaning, and profit. Exactly. Why does it keep dropping? Ace of Pentacles, fear of change. Surrender your fear of change. The Faith card, having this blockage. There is another job out there for you, and I don't know how much longer it's going to be available, but I think it's time to start looking. I definitely do. It could be within your own company. Maybe it's time to ask for a promotion. But if not, I feel like there's some other career or some other company that's more tapped into who you really are and what you really, really love to do. And that's all this enemy is doing for you, is forcing you into a job that you're going to love so much more and you're going to feel so much more creative and abundant in. So this is really, really good, root number 3. Comment below and let us know how this reading resonated, what's going on in your life, so that we can all connect together in regards to our enemies and our struggles. Like, that is what this online community is for. And I appreciate it so much, being able to chit chat with you guys and just watch everyone connect and send each other love and support. It's so important, because nowadays we do get a lot of our connection online and not in person. So we can be there for each other. And I'm really looking forward to the future for you guys. This was a really great, encouraging pile, and felt a lot less heavy than the first two. So I'm sending you guys lots of love and prayers and happiness and joy in your career. And I will see you all at the next pile. And I will see you all at the next reading. I'm sorry, can you tell I'm exhausted? Okay, I love you guys. Bye.